for our monthly Ask Me Anything, where you can ask me anything. Holy smokes, I'm having a hell of a hair day. A little frazzled because we are not only doing my Ask Me Anything, but we are having our biggest sale ever at zeroshoes.com and zeroshoes.eu. We've just launched zeroshoes.co.uk. So feel free to check that out. If you have any questions or comments, you can throw them in there somewhere, and I will see them over here. We frankly also did not do a great job letting people know about this Ask Me Anything. So if you aren't seeing us live, that's cool. You can also put in your comments and questions below, and somebody will get back to you whenever they can. So this is what the hell's going on in my face? I got a new light. It's making me look really weird. Anyway, what can I say? If you're new to Zero Shoes, I'm Stephen Sashin, CEO, co-founder of Zero Shoes. There's that t-shirt to prove it, along with my wife, Lena Phoenix. And we are just trying to help people live life feet first. What that means really is pretty simple. Your feet are your foundation. They're the most important thing to help you do the things that you love doing if you're walking, running, hiking, or anything else like that. And most shoes get in the way of letting your feet do what they're supposed to do. Your feet are supposed to bend and flex and move. You have a quarter of the bones and joints of your whole body in your feet and ankles. And if you don't let them do that job, those functions try unsuccessfully to move upstream into your hip, your ankle, your knee, your hip, your back, even all the way up to your neck. You have more nerve endings in the soles of your feet than anywhere but your fingertips and your lips. That is so that your brain knows what you're stepping on or stepping in, so it can help you move effectively and efficiently, and perhaps most importantly, enjoyably. And the way it does that, first of all, is controlling those things at the end of your legs, your feet, because that's going to help you with balance, etc. Balance, agility, mobility, all those things. So how do we do that? We make shoes that have a wider foot-shaped toe box. Your toes aren't getting squeezed together, because that's not good. You don't do push-ups like this. You do push-ups like this. Your feet are supposed to do that same kind of thing. Low to the ground for balance and agility. We don't elevate your heel. That messes with your posture, and you need to adjust, and that's going to mess up your ankles, your knees, your hips, your back. We don't have anything called toe spring. That keeps the toe of your shoe up. If you have a big, thick midsole, they do that because otherwise your feet would just be slapping the ground. So they put that toe spring in to help you kind of get off your toes, but it puts tension on the tendons because they're never be able to move correctly. The soles on our shoes are designed to give you traction and protection, but also the ground feedback that I mentioned before, so that your body and brain know how to work together nicely. And these soles are also backed with a 5,000-mile sole warranty, unlike most running shoes where they say replace them every couple hundred miles. Every one of our shoes has a removable, let's see if I can get to it, 2 to 3 millimeter insole or sock liner. You can keep it in for a little extra protection, take it out for a more barefoot feel. And last but not least, Zero Shoes are so lightweight. We've literally had people say they accidentally went to bed still wearing them because they forgot they had them on. By the way, for those of you who are just joining us, live event, if you have any questions or comments, type them in below. I will see them and respond accordingly. But while we're here, just as a reminder, while you can ask me anything about anything, barefoot shoes, the difference between barefoot and minimalist, how you transition to natural movement, what natural movement is, what I'm cooking for dinner, Thanksgiving plans, whatever. It doesn't matter. You can ask anything. Type it in below. I'll see it over there and get to it. What else can I say? We are, like I mentioned, having our biggest sale of the year as well. In fact, let me put in a caption about that so you can see that. Save up to 70% between now and the 28th of this month, a week from today, by going to zeroshoes.com/big sale or zeroshoes.eu/big sale. You'll find all the details, in addition to finding out how you can win one of 14 zeroshoes.com $100 gift certificates, or 1,400 euro zeroshoes.eu gift certificates. 14 because it's almost our 14th anniversary coming up in just a couple of days. Kathy says, hello, nice to see you. Right back at you, Kathy. So you can check everything out at zeroshoes.com/big sale or zeroshoes.eu/big sale. But back to the captiony part that I want to do about this, which is just, where you can find us everywhere. And if you need any help, you can reach out to our customer happiness team. They're at support@zeroshoes.com or zeroshoes.eu. You can also leave suggestions at zeroshoes.com/feedback. So a quick apology kind of about this. We've been so busy with the sale that this event did not get promoted the way it was supposed to. So not a whole lot of people here, but that's okay. I mean, not like normally where we get hundreds, but still a whole bunch of people who are being quiet in the background, which is totally, totally cool. No obligation to ask a question or make a comment. But I'm not going to stick around for very long, and because I'm only here to answer your questions, because you can ask me anything. So I'm going to put this one back. This, by the way, our Speed Force shoe, our closest thing to barefoot, a shoe that I developed with a guy who'd been at Nike for 30 years, trying to get them to make things like this. They wouldn't. We did. Oh, what else can I say? The weather is changing. We have, FYI, casual and performance. Here, I'll show you. Casual and performance. Shoes, boots, and sandals for everything you can think of. Cold weather stuff. Wait, that one there. That's a fully waterproof snow boot. That's a nice, cool weather boot for women. There's there's another one actually over there. I'm missing, where is it? We've got a really cool weather boot for men that I can't seem to find. Scott says, where are the Scrambler Mids? They ship today. Verbose, I like it. Cardio Mommy Chassis says, we love your shoes, Steve. Thank you. Selena, do you think about making toddler shoes in the future? We think about it a lot, and we're planning on it. I just don't have an ETA for when that's going to happen. I love it. The questions are coming in. Cannonball James Roberts, for everyone who runs and hikes in these, you could also play disc golf instead, which is far more enjoyable. Best disc golf shoes anywhere. I got to tell you another one, pickleball. Fastest growing sport in America, and people say because it's causing more injuries than ever before. I don't think it's pickleball that's causing the injuries, and I'll tell you why. We got a great testimonial. In fact, I love this story. I'm going to tell it my favorite way. Friends of my wife's and mine, people who have known us since we started the company, they've known us for like 13 of the 14 years we've been doing this, never owned a pair of Zero shoes. I didn't know, I didn't care, none of my business. Anyway, they moved away, we missed them, but they started playing pickleball, and they were just getting injured like many people were. And they thought maybe, maybe it's the shoes, got to be the shoes, to quote Spike Lee. And so they went to Zappos and they looked up pickleball, and they found like 13 different shoes, and ours were included, and they bought them all. And so they tried on the first 12, not ours, and we're like, don't like them, not crazy about them. And then tried on ours and went, wow, these are really comfortable, but I don't know if I can play in them. Each one, the husband and the wife, emailed us separately saying they got out on the court, were having a great time, and at some point literally forgot they were even wearing shoes, and noticed that at the end, their knees, their hips, their back, which have been having problems, felt totally fine. And that's all they've played in ever since. So why might that happen, you may ask? Well, A, you're low to the ground, so you're not tippy. The higher you get off the ground, the more likely you're going to tip. If you have a shoe I normally have a bad shoe, a normal shoe for display, but we just moved into a new office and I don't know where everything is yet. I don't think that box has made it here yet. But anyway, if you have a shoe with a flared sole, if you catch the edge of that flared sole, one of two things can happen. Either your foot slams on the ground, that can lead to a bunch of problems, or you can fall over it and sprain your ankle. This is what happens to basketball players. So those are the two biggies. And also even arch support, which sounds like a great idea, except supporting any joint makes it weaker over time. Research shows when it comes to, put your arm in a cast, it comes out weaker 8 weeks later. With shoes, there's research showing if you put arch support in the shoes of healthy individuals, within 12 weeks, they have lost up to 17% of the muscle mass and size in their feet. Quick question, when is weaker better than stronger? Trick question, answer's never. You know that. There's actually research showing that just walking in shoes like Zero shoes build foot strength as much as doing an actual foot exercise program. And even better, that exercise program has been shown to reduce the risk of running injuries no matter what you're wearing on your feet by 250% over the course of a year. So sometimes if people are happy in their running shoes, I go, great, keep wearing them. But you might want to get a pair of Zero shoes to help your feet bend and move and flex, which is great for recovery, and also to build that foot strength that can help you reduce injury risk. Because again, walking in shoes gives you as much strength as doing an exercise program. That exercise program reduces the risk of running injuries. So do the math. There isn't a study that jumps all the way over there, but I call it the transitive property of reducing injury risk. By the way, you can get an ebook about what I just said, this whole thing about reducing injury risk, if you go to footweartruth.com. Footweartruth.com, and if you want to get there, I think that'll take you directly to where you can download the ebook that's all about what I just said about running injury risk and foot strengthening. It even gives that exercise program if you want to do that, which is really fun. Hi, Toe. Hi, Steve. Just got my Honda pair, now waiting for my Glen and Z-Trek to arrive. This is one of these things that first of all, thank you. Thank you for your support. I love it when people start chiming in about how many different pairs of Zero shoes they own. We did a survey recently and asked people, how many times have you been stopped by someone who just asked about your shoes? And it was like 68% said that had happened to them. I said, how many times have you bumped into somebody wearing Zero shoes? And they said it was about 48% who said that happened to them. For a company our size, that is just an unheard of kind of brand recognition and awareness, which makes us super, super happy. What else can I say? Nothing, because again, I don't have a whole lot to say if you're not asking me questions. So chime in with a comment or question if you want. Otherwise, I'll let you get back to it. Oh, but I will tell you what I am making for dessert on Thursday for, I'll tell you two things actually. Lena and I, we're going to just spend Thanksgiving alone and just relax, not have to deal with human beings. And I was going to make Detroit style pizza. And if you like pizza, whether you know what Detroit style is or not, go to YouTube and look up Charlie Anderson and look up his Detroit style pizza recipe. It is crack with cheese. Unbelievable. But then we got invited somewhere. And so they asked me to make dessert. And here's another thing to look up, apple cloud cake. It's kind of like angel food cake, but the only ingredient, basically, applesauce. I'm going to leave it at there. I'm not going to tell you the rest. You have to go look up apple cloud cake. Definitely add cinnamon. Anyway, a couple comments came in. You sound like an expert at rolling joints. And that's a Colorado pot joke too. And I'm not an expert at rolling joints. I have never smoked pot, even though I live in Colorado, where it seems like you're required to. Oh my gosh, comments came in. Vera and Jeeth just went to a gym and everybody loves the HFS. Happy to hear that. Jennifer, just sent my 10th pair. I'm guessing it's got what? Anyway, my 10th pair. It seems, LOL, I love your shoes. I have a muscle weakness and it helps my walk so much. That's really sweet to hear. Thank you, Jennifer. Monica says, I love the Scrambler Low. I wear them for work as a nursing assistant. They go with my royal blue scrubs. Send us a picture. I totally want to see that. Cardio Mommy Chassis, we have 7 pairs of your shoes. Jennifer says, just bought my 10th. Cannonball James Robert says, I have several people ask about my shoes, mainly when playing disc golf. If you had iron-on transfers, I'd add the logo to my jersey. Well, we have t-shirts, but I don't have a transfer. We'll have to see what we can do about that. Drop us an email. We'll see. Peter Cunningham bought my shoes after the first or second day of the sale. I think, how long will it take to get to Canada? I don't know, unfortunately, because it's not about, it's a Canadian customs things. I don't have a good answer, unfortunately. You can check with our customer happiness team, drop them an email, support@zeroshoes.com. They might have an answer for that, but I have no way. You should have tracking info in the email we sent about your order. So, but check with them if they don't know. Let's see what else. Cindy says, best winter boot for women. Thanks. Are you asking? If you're asking, I would say the Alpine, which there's a men's and women's version, which is a fully waterproof snow boot. Or if you're just looking for something casual, that is the Mika, which just got reviewed as one of the best boots for women. Okay, Amanda says, order the Tari and Prio for myself after my husband had an amazing experience in Prios the past few weeks. Achilles problem is gone. Thank you. Recommendations for socks. What should I look for? It's a great question. You know, this is one of the saddest things in my life. I have the most amazing collection of tie-dye socks ever. A guy who used to work for me in a previous company I started sold tie-dye socks at Fish concerts, originally at Dead concerts. That's how old he is. And after he got me my first pair, I was hooked because, hey, you don't have to worry about if they match. They always match. But I can't wear them anymore because they're way too thick. And frankly, I think the only time I wear socks with Zero shoes is if I'm walking the dog in the morning and it's below 30 degrees because I'm out for about an hour and gets a little chilly after that. But it takes about an hour till my feet get a little chilly. So if you're going to wear socks, you want to go for something as thin as possible so it's not cutting off that feedback that you're looking for, unless you're in a situation where you need something thick. I'm not going to tell you what to do in that situation. Do what you can. But even then, like, go for a thinner merino wool is my recommendation. We have toe socks that you can buy at zeroshoes.com, but we're not selling socks yet because I haven't found any that don't squeeze your toes together. So we're still looking for those. So go for something super thin, as thin as you can get away with for the use case that you have. And I hear merino wool is a really good thing to look for. So see if that's helpful. Bobby, up to 15 pairs in 2 months. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. That's wonderful to hear. Cannonball replying to Peter, I think with exchange rates, Canadian days are 20% less than American days. Oh man, I wish I didn't read that out loud. Christian, big thanks to Zero Shoes for making the best things that go on feet. Thank you so much for saying that. And you know, I say this all the time, and I'll say it now as well. When Lane and I started this 14 years and just a couple of days ago, we literally never imagined that we would be doing what we're doing. I mean, frankly, we were doing it, selling just our do-it-yourself sandal kit, which is a really cool thing to get. And we thought, you know, after a few years, somebody would buy us out for enough money where you'd never see us again. We did not imagine that we'd have 14 years of 10 to 12-hour days, 6 to 7 days a week. But more importantly, we never imagined that we'd be helping so many people all around the world discover the fun, most importantly, and the comfort and benefits of natural movement in Zero Shoes. So we just couldn't be more grateful. And we have an amazing team of people here who are also so excited to be working with us, not even for us, with us, because a lot of them have been in footwear for a long time. This is the first chance they've had to make and sell a product that's actually good for you, and they could not be happier. Peter says, LOL. Yeah, I get it. All right, let's see. That's Peter replying to James. All right, what else? So apple cloud cake, talked about that. Detroit style pizza. Charlie Anderson, his recipe for New York style pizza, also phenomenal. So I make pizza every weekend, dough on Saturday, pizza on Sunday, except for the New York and the Detroit, where I got to make the dough like 3 or 4 days in advance. So Charlie is an amazing cook, and he reverse engineered making New York style pizza and Detroit pizza, and I highly recommend checking him out. I get nothing for that. Kristen D. Wait, sorry, I can't read things very well on my screen for some reason. Just bought my first 5 pair this month. Fifth pair. I'm going for either way. Could not wait for the first pair and just kept buying more. Oh, got it. That's even better. Thank you so much. Cindy said, what about women's pickleball shoes? I told this great pickleball story about people who've been playing in our shoes. Some play in the Speed Force because they want that really barefoot experience. But my friends who I mentioned who said they like went goo goo gaga over our shoes and it helped them. They're wearing the 360, which is a great shoe for pickleball. And also the Forza Trainer is a great pickleball shoe as well. But we have people playing in the Prio, Neo, in the Speed Force. So my recommendation is check out the 360 first and foremost, because we made that to handle lateral movement, like cross training, even CrossFit workouts. So we know a bunch of people playing that. We have a bunch of professional basketball players who are playing or doing like everything other than playing in the 360 and the Forza Trainer. So if they can that can handle basketball, should be able to handle pickleball as well. There's a good question. Peter asked, do we ever go barefoot in restaurants and stores? A lot. Not as much in the winter, but often, so often. And when I wear shoes, wait, hold on. Here's one foot. Here's the other. So when I wear shoes, I wear mismatched colors, but I often, especially in the summer, don't wear shoes. I was in Costco in the pharmacy line, and the guy behind me says, hey, your shoes don't match. And the pharmacist, without missing a beat or even looking up, says, he's wearing shoes? So that answers that question. If you have never been into a grocery store on a hot summer day and stood in the produce section when the mister is going off, you got to do it. It's like the closest thing to being a kid running through a sprinkler. So highly recommended. And by the way, if someone says it's not legal to be barefoot in their store or restaurant, it's not true. They may have a policy, but there's literally nothing that says it's illegal to do it. Just FYI. Okay. Cardio Mommy says, stay healthy. Pizza is a necessity. Happy holidays, everyone. Pizza is life. Bottom line. Everything is pizza. A burrito, it's really pizza rolled up. French grilled cheese, it's just pizza without the sauce, and then mushed up together. What else is like pizza? Almost anything Mexican food, if it has a tortilla involved, is kind of like pizza in some way. So I want to actually do a book someday called Everything is Pizza and find like the coolest recipes for those things that are some combination of bread, cheesy something, and something saucy. That's one of my goals in life. In case you haven't seen it, Cannonball says to Cindy Dell, I don't play, but doing other activities, I'd say the 360 may be good, or the Forza Trainer. Hey, just what I said. Steve says to keep Peter, I bought mine on the first day. They arrived last week. I am leaving or living in Montreal area. And then replying to Peter, damn autocorrect. Yeah, I get it. Deneen, I have over 20 pairs. It's all your fault. Great deals. I love the Scrambler mids. Oh, they are awesome. And my new favorite is the Aqua Export. That is Lena's favorite shoe in the summer. She loves hiking around Boulder, Colorado, where there's streams to cross, and she's watching all the people try to figure out how to not get their feet wet. And she just like goes through the water, gets out of the water, water flies out. Shoes are dry in no time. Oh, let's see. Kathy, I used to live in Aptos, California. I've been curious how your Aptos style was named after Aptos, California, because we had someone who used to live near there. So we sometimes look for fun city names that kind of have the feeling of the shoe that we're going for. So now you know the secret. Gabby says you should watch Dancing with the Stars at 8 p.m. Oh my gosh, yeah. Watch Dancing with the Stars at 8 p.m. because if you haven't noticed, Greg Brady, that's not his actual name, of course, been wearing the HFS in a bunch of the little clips about rehearsing and practicing. I had a great conversation with him just about 3 weeks ago. Really, really sweet guy. I still want the Pagosa slipper. I know you and me both. They sold out. We're trying to get them back as fast as we can. Working on that. Pizza and Zero Shoes. Life is good from Cardio Mommy. You're right. Gabby says, I love wearing the Pre-Owned Neo. The blue color is amazing and they are really comfortable. I agree about both of those things. Oh, he was just eliminated. Oh no, Gabby says. Oh, I'm going to have to call him and console him. Peter, I bought the Aptos so I can slip them on and go to the store. That's what we made them for. Just a fun little slip on. Are you going to publish your conversation with Barry Williams, aka Greg Brady? No, we're not allowed to. We're not allowed to really promote anybody who's an actual celebrity without their permission. I mean, I can say that I talked to him. I guess that's okay. I hope that's okay. I mean, he's wearing the shoes on TV, so let's hope that's okay. And I actually did say to Barry, he asked, is there anything I can do for you? I said, do you want to do a testimonial? He goes, I get paid for stuff like that, right? I said, yeah, I'm a moron. Sorry. So we were going to talk after all the Dancing with the Stars stuff was done and then see what we might want to do together, which would be a blast. Let's see. Peter says tonight, oh man, okay. All right. We're going to have to watch. I'm going to have to go watch the replay of Dancing with the Stars. Not a show I typically watch, I will confess, but I'm definitely going to do it. And in fact, somebody just asked me to make a list of some people who've been wearing our shoes publicly, and I'm going to throw in Barry Williams for the fun of it. And a couple other people as well. Gabe says, these Alpines are holding up great in the Wyoming winter so far. Thank you. Thank you. And, in fact, there's one celebrity who wears our shoes a lot, and I can't even mention her name because she's that famous. But other people did. So she's a singer. I'm going to leave it at that. You might have to do a little hunting and see if you can find it. Really famous, young, wonderfully talented, awesome singer. That's all I can say. Virenjith, is there any company trying to copy Zero Shoes products? I am proud to admit we got our first official knockoff. It was sold on Amazon. It was a ripoff of the Prio, and happily everyone jumped in on it and said, this is a ripoff of the Prio, and it sucks. I'm not even sure if it's still there. And Gabby had a guess, and Steve had a guess, and you're both correct. That's all I'm going to say. Peter, I wish it were, but I would say, look in the comments. It's the next best thing. Actually, I don't know if you'll be able, Peter, you're on Facebook, and the other two comments came in on YouTube. I'm not sure if you're able to see it. So, but yeah, Gabby and Steve got it right, and not quite Peter. Anyway, yeah. What else can we talk about? Again, this is an Ask Me Anything. So come on, ask me something, anything. And if I don't have an answer, I'll make one up. I'll make up a good one too, I promise you. So anyway, just a reminder though, I'm going to put this comment back on. First of all, it's a pleasure having you here. And let me just throw this back on really quickly. If you don't know, many people obviously do, having our big sale, you can save 10 to 70% on all of our shoes, boots, and sandals if they're still in stock. We have run out of some colors and some sizes, even a couple of styles, I think. And so don't wait till this thing ends a week from today. If you see something you like, grab it before the sale ends. Zeroshoes.com/big sale, zeroshoes.eu/big sale. You can also register to win one of $1,400 or €1,400 zeroshoes.com or zeroshoes.eu respectively gift certificates. Don't wait to see if you won before you buy something, because we announce the winner of the sale after the sale ends. But it's cool if you buy something, then you win. We'll apply your winnings to your order. Or of course, you can use those winnings to buy something else for you or someone you know or love, or as I love to say, someone you would like to have, know or love you, because you just bought them the most comfortable shoes they've ever worn. P.S. I mentioned this to someone earlier today when I'm going to put this thing back on here. One of my fantasies, I'm waiting for our first 2 people meet wearing Xero shoes, and then they get married. We came so close-ish a while ago. If you know about the Craigslist missed connections, that's where someone will basically say, hey, I saw you and I didn't get to talk, or we didn't get our numbers or whatever. I hope you find me. One of them was, and I have a printout of this somewhere. You were wearing your Xero shoes and I forgot to put on mine that day. So I was too embarrassed to say hi. I hope you find me, but it doesn't seem like they did. Gabby, tell me about your plans for the female Glen. We have plans for a female version of the Glen. It's the best I can tell you right now. I'm not sure if it's coming out in the spring because I can't store that info in my head, but we've had enough requests. We're definitely fast tracking that one. I would like it in blue with brogue and wingtip patterns. Interesting. Go to xeroshoes.com/feedback and leave that recommendation. So that's how our product team gets ideas about what to do. And I just don't know what's happening with that. So definitely leave that suggestion there and see where that goes. Yikes, a bunch of things came in. Heido, how was the Shark Tank experience? It was great. If you don't know, we were on Shark Tank back 10 years ago, January 31st, I think, 30 days after September, and November. Yeah, January 30, I think, 2013. And then they re-aired it in the beginning of June 2013. And that's when we were only selling a do-it-yourself sandal kit. So we were a tiny little company, but we got like 270,000 people on our website at one time during the show, which was amazing. But I'll tell you the biggest thing that was great about the show. That's what gave Lena and I the commitment to actually move forward. At the time, it was a nice little lifestyle business, was paying the mortgage, paying for the car, and it was getting ready for the show. And just the feedback we'd been getting from customers at that time where people were saying, hey, these things have changed my life, that really gave us the desire to like go in, with both feet, pun intended. And so we're forever grateful. In fact, the criticism and the complaints that the Sharks had, that's what inspired us to really build the business. If you haven't seen the episode, go to xeroshoes.com/Shark Tank and you can find it there. And you know what? There's one other thing. CNBC, they're the ones who re-air the repeats. They did a thing a year ago called Shark Tank Misses, and we were the first Shark Tank miss about how well we've done since Shark Tank. And I would argue in many ways because because of what happened on Shark Tank. Oh, Peter says, make a Xero Shoes dating site. Jesus, that would be hysterical. Okay. We might have to do some version of that just for fun for Valentine's Day. We'll see what we can do. Bo says, hi, Steve. Thanks for hosting the live chats. I asked a while back about the possibility of reinforced toe work boots, and you said you're working on it. Any update? Yes and no. We're still working on it. There is an update. God, there was something I was about to say because people who've been watching me do this know I can't keep a secret, but I've got to keep a secret about this one. We have a project that we're working on that's taken precedence over the work boot because while there are fewer people who need this product, the influence of those people is so enormous that we're putting a lot of attention on that one. So I'm going to double check and see. I know it's our chief product developer. He's got on his whiteboard the list of things that we're working on. And I know that's really high on the list, but I know this one other thing is higher on the list. So, but we're getting close to wrapping that project up. So soon. I know it's the number one request we get. It pains me that we don't have it done. So that's that. Cannonball James, I'm sad you don't make a Xero bucket top pirate boot. I'm going to have to custom make a pair for my outfit. That has been the number one request we've gotten is a knee-high bucket top pirate boot. No, it's not. You know what? We actually did get a request for like a knee-high boot for women, and we made one, and it's awesome. But because it was a really cool suede, we couldn't find a way to make it and sell it for less than $250. And that's just not our style. We want things to be affordable. And so not sure what to do about that yet. Stefano, I'm a Luna Sandals lover, but it is in your Genesis that I learned how to land correctly without slapping my feet. Kudos to the Genesis. Amazing. Love them. Love your product, your podcast. Thank you very much. And I appreciate you giving me all that info. Virenjit, the dating site is a great marketing campaign. News channels would jump on it. I completely agree. I had another idea that's kind of a dating site, which is if you have a right foot bigger than your left foot, we would pair you with someone who's the other way around. But my warehouse manager said he would kill me if we tried to do that, because then we'd have just a whole bunch of, first of all, managing the escrow part to match people up would be a nightmare, and managing just the stray off sizes like this, we just couldn't do it. But maybe we'll find a way to combine these two ideas. We'll see. Peter, wouldn't work boots be pretty challenging because a lot of them need to have steel toe in them? You are correct. Whether it's steel or composite, that's two different things. The other thing is making something that gives you all the protection you need, the ability to stomp on a shovel and to climb a ladder, but still give you that natural movement thing, especially with the protective toe, where sometimes it's like slaps and doesn't let your foot move. We came up with a couple cool ways to handle that. So yes, it is a big challenge. That's why you don't see them all over the place. Cardio, my husband needs the work boot, safety sole for electrical. See, there's yet another feature. And then the whole thing of getting it OSHA compliant, it's tens of thousands of dollars to get it compliant, and even more in Europe to make it compliant there. Gabby says, do the zero dating for April Fools, but then make it real. I like the way you guys think. We'll have to see what we can do. Kristen, shifted my work boots into a zero drop. Oh, yeah, you made your work boots zero drop, cut an insole in half, double it up the front to cut down on the rise. Very clever. Very, very clever. Alice, I like they aren't elevated. I only like flat shoes. My wife, about a couple years ago, before we had a boot for her to wear, she said, I hate that we own this company, because she was looking for a nice pair of brown boots and found one, but it had a 1/4 inch heel. She says, I feel like I'm going to fall on my face. So that's when we started making boots. Gabby, what are your Thanksgiving plans? All right, this is going to sound funny. We're having dinner with some of my oldest and closest friends. We've known each other since 1988. And Kyle, he and I, and sometimes he's on here making fun of me. Kyle and I met because we were both on an episode of America's Most Wanted. He played my best friend. I played a guy who killed somebody. And you might be able to find it. I don't know if it's online. Holy smokes, it's from 1988. It was the guy's name was Adam Zachs, Zachs. So if you look up America's Most Wanted, see if you can find the Adam Zachs episode, you will see me 15 pounds lighter and all those years earlier. So we're going over and hanging out with his family. All right. $250 is actually a great price for top quality knee-high leather boot. Mine were $400. I know we're just not there yet is the best thing I can say. We're working that problem. It's a tricky one. I'll tell you why it's a challenge, to be totally candid, as people know who've been on here that I am. $250 may be a fine price for humans to buy that product at, but we don't know how well it's going to sell. And if we're selling it for $250, it'll be the most expensive shoe we've ever made. And so just buying the inventory will actually prevent us in that season from making 3 other products. So this is the balancing act that we have to do around here. It's tough. Kristen says a zero work boot almost sounds like an oxymoron. I know, but we're really close. I mean, on the design side, we're close. Just the making it side is where things get trickier. Gabby, I don't understand why you made the HFS 2. I didn't buy it because I have many pairs of the HFS. I don't see how it could be improved. Some of it was just a design thing, like, tweaking the design. Some of it was because some people for roads needed like a tiny bit of extra protection. And to be totally candid, again, as I am, I was not crazy about, that idea. And we're looking to see what we can do to segment the 1 and the 2 and bring the 1 back. It's something we've been talking about. Not sure what's happening with that yet, but it's a big conversation. We actually did a survey of people who had both the 1 and the 2. And the survey, unfortunately, did not give us any useful information, because 50% liked the first one better and 50% liked the second one better. And what I can tell you is that number 2 is outselling number 1. So this is one of the tricky things about the footwear biz. We're working that problem. Let's see. Virenjit, when are you supplying NASA and SpaceX? Funny you mentioned that. We actually got approached by a university team that was trying to develop new products for spacesuits for people going to the moon. And we gave them some good advice and gave them some ideas. Don't know what's going to happen with that. Ryan, what do you think about wearing barefoot shoes for workouts, but regular running shoes for running? Yeah, fine with me. Actually, I'll tell you, I commented about this before. I'm about to fall off my chair. And that sounds weird, but here's my chair. So now it makes sense. Okay. So if you're happy in your running shoes, and you know it, clap your hands, then that's cool. Enjoy. What I'm going to recommend, though, is wearing zero shoes for everything else, because that movement you get in zero shoes is great for active recovery. B, I mentioned this before, if you go to footweartruth.com, you'll be redirected to a ebook that you can get absolutely free. That's about two very interesting studies. The first study showed that runners who did an 8-week foot exercise program and ran in regular shoes had 250% fewer injuries than the runners in regular shoes who didn't do the exercise program. I'd give you the exercise program, but you don't have to do the exercise program if you don't want to, because there's another study showing that just walking in zero shoes builds shoes like zero shoes builds foot muscle strength as much as doing that same exercise program. So do the math. Walking in zero shoes builds strength as much as an exercise program. That exercise program reduces the risk of running injury over the course of a year. That's how long the study lasted. So, if it works for you, it works for you. That's really cool. I will recommend, though, that when you're running in your regular shoes, have someone videotape you in slow motion from the side and check out your form. Because if you're overstriding, landing with your foot too far in front of your body, and with your knee basically straight, in other words, with your ankle bone further in front of your knee, in front of your knee, vertically, then you might want to think about switching, because that form is the problem, or is the cause of knee, hip, ankle, etc. problems. Because basically, if you imagine standing up and just putting your foot out in front of you, if you're an overstriding runner, just look at what you're doing, and then just stand up and put your foot in front of you. And doesn't it look, when you do that, like you're stepping on the brake? Well, guess what? That's exactly what's happening if you land with your foot too far in front of you. And so if you step on the brakes, A, you then need to reaccelerate, and B, if you're stepping on the brakes like that, the pressure that you're generating when you land, that might get mitigated so your foot doesn't feel it, but the force is still going into your body. And if your leg is relatively straight, it bypasses all the muscles, ligaments, and tendons designed to be springs and shock absorbers, and just goes right into your joints. And my favorite way of describing the difference between pressure and force, if anyone remembers, it's a slow motion video from way back when, a little black and white clip of this big fat guy taking a cannonball to the stomach. He was like a circus or a carnival act. And you see in slow motion, the cannonball hits him in like all the fat ripples, but that's the pressure getting dispersed. But the force of the cannonball threw him basically into the air, until he landed on a little trampoline thing in the back. So that's what we're trying to avoid, is the force going in places where it shouldn't. Okay, Gabby says, by the way, my birthday was 2 weeks ago and 1 day ago. I hope you're celebrating. I did. I had cake just for you. Scorpio season, she says. K. Joe Wong, anyone try zero shoes and did an ultra marathon before? Quite a few people, actually. If you want to look up one in particular, look up Randy Krill, although it's spelled K-R-E-I. I can't remember if it's K-R-E-I-L-L or Krill. K-R-E-I-L-L. Randy's done a bunch of ultras in our sandals as well as our shoes, but we have thousands of people who've done ultras in our shoes, boots, and sandals. Okay, a couple of things came in. And you know what, by the way, K. Joe, if you haven't read Born to Run, which is about a number of things, including the Tarahumara tribe in Mexico, who run many, many, many miles, including ultra marathons, either in barefoot or in sandals, huaraches, that are just scraps of tire strapped to their feet. They ran the first couple of Leadville 100s. They did the first one in huaraches and won. The second race, they were sponsored by a shoe company. They only made it a couple miles in the shoes before they ripped them off and just finished the race barefoot. So it's totally doable. Human beings have been running in minimalist footwear or no footwear for tens to hundreds of miles since the beginning of human beings. So they can do it. We all can. I can't. I'm a sprinter. I don't do distance. I don't even take turns at the end of the track because I don't have a GPS watch and I don't like getting lost. I'm a 100-meter guy outdoors, 60-meter guy indoors. Can't wait for indoor season coming up soon. All right. Anyway, Cannonball James says minimalist feet and minimalist seat. Well played, young man. And then replying to Peter, he says, doesn't have to be steel. Composite is getting popular because you can get the protection with less weight, but both have the same issue when there's absolutely no give. So again, we got to do that just right. Flame Ninja, your shoes have helped my back pain. I'm on my feet all day as a plumber and I'm getting healed from working. Imagine that, getting paid to feel better. I've been wearing them for a year. Thanks. Thank you. I love stories like that. It makes us all very happy. All righty. Sebastian, hey man, any chance of getting shoe template tool on the homepage? It would help when picking and choosing a size. I do a 42 EU size of normal shoes. I'm probably closer to 40 or 41. No. And I'll tell you why. We have done a bunch of experiments. Now we have templates for our sandals because that's a flat thing and you just step on it and you see if it fits. But for shoes, we have tested a dozen different ways of recommending sizing. No one has ever gotten it right. I mean, no company has ever gotten it right. We've tested about a dozen different ways, and we have found that what we're doing now by saying, try your regular size, is the most successful thing we've done so far. It's reduced the number of returns and exchanges based on sizing compared to anything that we've tried. And let me tell you why. Because A, when it comes to length, there's two problems, but when it comes to length, people have personal preference. Some people think they need, this much space in front of their big toe. Some people think they need less. Some people think they need more. By the way, this came from the fact that if you have a shoe with a big, thick midsole, when it bends faster on the inside than the outside, so it effectively gets shorter. So they said, get, this much space to deal with the fact that the shoe is getting shorter. We don't have that problem. So you don't need all that. But some people like that amount of space. They just think it's more comfortable. Some people actually bought shoes that were too big for them because they needed the extra width in shoes that were not wide. We don't have that problem either. But anyway, personal preference is a big deal. In fact, I could take 3 people with identical feet, put them in the same shoe, and they would have 3 opinions about whether it fits or not. So problem number 1, personal preference. Problem number 2, 3 dimensions versus 2 dimensions. Your foot is a 3-dimensional thing. Your shoe is a 3-dimensional thing. So to find the right size is about matching 3-dimensional things, which is tricky. There's a kind of a meme going around about taking the insole out of a shoe and stepping on that. And if that's not wider than your foot, the shoe won't fit, which is completely not true. First of all, the insole fits inside the shoe. So the shoe is by definition wider than the insole. Secondly, I'll do the example this way. This explains 2D versus 3D. So here's a circle, okay? You can make it flat like this, and it's still the same volume, and it makes things really wide. You can make it tall, I can't do a tall circle, tall like this, and it makes it really narrow, but still the same volume. So we've had people who say, hey, I'm a 4EE, and they fit in our shoe fine because their feet are like this. We've had people who are who say that they are like a size, width is B, and their foot is like, this, and they still have a size B, like really narrow, but they didn't fit the shoe because they have a really, really high volume foot. So this is something, frankly, I'm trying to solve. I have a patent pending on a solution for this. But the gist is, for length, personal preference is challenging, which is why we just make the recommendation. The recommendations we're making have come from the response from customers. So that's how we're making it. Every now and then we have a shoe that says, go up half a size or something like that. Or for the boots, if you're going to wear a thick sock, go up a half a size. But and look, this is why we do free domestic exchanges, because no shoe company has ever done this perfectly. I will tell you, in the footwear world, especially online sellers, it's common to have a 30 to 40% return or exchange rate because of sizing. Ours is closer to 12. And on our sandals, closer to 2. So we're doing the best we can, but we're always looking for ways to improve. So I hope that's helpful in some way and probably gave you more information than you were looking for with what seemed like a simple question. What else? Oh my gosh, it's getting to that time where I got to get home and make something resembling food for my wife and myself. Happily, the dog is different. Oh, a bit harder for living outside the EU or US. That is true-ish. Where are you living is the question. So let me know where you're living, because there may be a solution for that, but it depends on where you're living. While you're answering that, Abraham, is there any news about vegan leather material that meet the requirements to make a great shoe? No, is unfortunately the answer. The quote vegan leather materials that currently exist, Some of them, they haven't even made enough to make, shoes for anybody. Some, like pineapple leather, they explicitly say not for use for footwear. Some, like cactus leather, we tried it, it's just plasticky and feels horrible. Some of the, what are some of the other ones? I mean, we use a product called Clarino, which is a quote vegan suede. And it's a great product for small pieces, but it's not good enough for a whole shoe, not one that would last, unfortunately. Sebastian, you're living in Japan. We have a couple of stores in Japan that carry our product. Go to zeroshoes.com, click on the upper right store locator and see if they're listed. I don't think all of them are listed. We have a distributor there called Kenkosia. And if you reach out to our customer happiness team, they could introduce you and maybe they have what you're looking for. And if not, if you call them and say, hey, I want this shoe, maybe that'll help them get inspired to bring it in if they don't already have it. So that's our sneaky plan. Gabby, the go up half size thing is really helpful. HFS are a lot more comfortable for me, half size bigger, women's 8, men's 6.5, instead of the women's 7.5, which is tight. Again, one of those things. Thought on negative heel drop, Steve asks. I can't think of any reason to do it, frankly, because that's not how human beings are built. And I mean, if we just stand somewhere, everything's flat. The negative heel drop thing came from the idea of when someone's walking on the sand and you look at the footprint, the heel is lower than the ball of the foot. But that's a fake out, because what happens is this. When you have anything cushiony, including sand, your body will do two things. It will try to use it, which usually means overstriding and landing heel first, kind of harder. But the other thing it does is it stiffens your leg. So the softer the surface, the stiffer your leg gets. And that actually can create some problems. But it's just a fake out because of the way force gets applied to the ground. So if you land, here we go. If you land heel first, but your heel is basically still under your center of mass, so you're kind of rolling over your heel, it's still going to show that you have more weight on your heel than the other parts of your foot, because by the time you get fully over your foot, you've spread, the surface area is spread out. So there's nothing you can do that will be applying more force or more pressure than that initial contact. Even with your toes, because by the time your toes are hitting, you're coming off, you get a little bit of depth in your toes, but that's after you're past mid stance where you're coming off the ground. So that idea, I've never found that it worked really. Some people like it, which is great, but biomechanically, it's not a thing as far as I can tell. Chortle, I think is what it says. I can't tell. Unable to find women's Nexus knit anywhere. When are they available? I wish I had an answer for that, because it pains me that that shoe, which sold out like the moment we brought it in, is out of stock. I don't have a date. If you reach out to our customer happiness team, they'll be able to tell you. I don't store that info in my head because I got too much stuff in there. This motion is perhaps appropriate. And sadly, not right away, but I don't know if it's in a couple of weeks or the beginning of the year. So suffice it to say, if you go to our website and you go to look at the Nexus knit, there should be a little thing that says, get something, get product update, or get something by email. Like, I don't remember what the message is. Basically, we'll tell you when it comes back in stock. Make sure you click on that and get us your email address. That way you'll hear about it first, because there's a chance we're going to sell out again the moment we get it back, because that shoe is doing so well. So that's my recommendation for that. Okay. All right. I'm going to try and wrap it up because why not? I think it's also because I just got really hungry, and I know my dog needs a walk, and thank God he wasn't here to hear me say that, or he'd go and then rush to the door. And my wife needs some food, and I'm the guy who cooks. So just a reminder, by the way, if you don't know, many of you do. Gabby says, make the Nexus knit in blue. Again, leave that at zeroshoes.com/feedback and give us an example of what blue you're talking about. Just a reminder though, FYI, if you don't already know, we have our big sale going on from now through the 28th, a week from today. And you can save 10 to 70% on all of our shoes, boots, and sandals. You can also register to win one of 1,400 zeroshoes.com gift certificates, one of 1,400 zeroshoes.eu gift certificates. You'll find our sweepstakes app on the page, zeroshoes.com/big sale, zeroshoes.eu/big sale. And there's different actions you can take to enter the sweepstakes. Some you can do every day. Different actions give you a different number of entries. The more entries you get, the better your chances of winning. Spread the word. And again, don't wait until the end of the sale if you see something you want, because we have sold out of some sizes and colors, and I think a style or two. And you don't want to wait to see if you won the sweepstakes before you get something, because we don't announce the winners till after the sale ends. But it's cool if you buy something, then win. We can apply your winnings to your order, or you can use it to buy something else for someone you know or love, or as we've discussed earlier, someone who you want to have know or love you because you just gave them the most comfortable shoes they've ever worn. Yeah. A couple things came in. Charles says, thank you. You're welcome. Abraham says, thank you for the answers. My pleasure. This is one of my favorite things to do. Rain Ninja says, Prio rock. I agree. Kathy says, thank you so much for Shoes Podcast and these broadcasts. Again, my pleasure. And most importantly, I want to thank you all, because look, half of our orders come from people who are already own a pair of Zero shoes. They're buying their second, third, fifth, 10th, 20th. There's one guy who owns 40 pairs. It's a long story. And so if it weren't for you, this wouldn't be happening. I mean, literally, if it weren't for, all of us hearing the stories that everyone has told about what's happened when they switch to Zero shoes, that's what gets us out of bed in the morning. That's what makes everybody here happy to work here. Our customer happiness team, customer service is a tough job. My favorite thing about our business in some way, most of the people there were referred by people who are already working in customer service. That doesn't happen. It's a family over here, and it's in part because we all know about you guys, and we just want to be helpful. Lena has a great line. There's no reason to start another shoe company. There's enough shoe companies in the world. Unless your shoes are changing people's lives. And that's all we're here to try to do. And, for people who are new to Zero shoes, I like to say, we're here so you can feel what you've been missing: natural comfort, performance, and health. And if you're not new to Zero shoes, then Cannonball says between he and his wife, about 40 pairs. Monica's giving us a heart. I hate doing that motion, but I just did it. But anyway, I was going to say, if you're not new to Zero shoes, if you've been with us at all, any amount of time, again, we just want to thank you. And for everybody, most importantly, whatever you do, especially with this holiday weekend coming up, go out, have fun, and live life feet first. Take care.